For our last presentation today, we have The Art of Tone, My First Guitar Build by Zander K.
Well, I expected that to happen immediately. After every practice I've had, everything successful, I knew that there would be one more detriment. It's okay. It's just character building. All right. Well, now it's revealed. I was actually going to hide this behind my back for a little bit, but here it is. Thank you. Double checking that now. All right. We're having so many technical difficulties here. Anyways, I want to ask you a question. If you could have exactly what you wanted in 15 mistakes, how quickly would you make those mistakes? Now, so this is me, I think about 6 years old in San Francisco at a park where basically they give 6-year-olds nails, screws, hammers, and whatever and say, go build whatever. So I think as a kid, I decided to build a guitar. And about 5 months ago, I decided to build this. Here's how it went. Now, before I get into anything, here's a quick map of why I built this, the design, how it almost fell apart twice. Maybe that was almost the third time. And how I got from that plank of wood and those nails to something that actually makes music. Now, this started off as I was going deeper into the scene in high school. I visited Luther's workshops and even the Ernie Ball factory in San Luis Obispo, California. I walked through their entire process from raw wood to a finished guitar. And something had locked into place for me then. I didn't have a plan yet, but it was a possibility. Now, last summer, I worked at a local guitar shop that quickly developed into my second home. This was South Austin Music. I saw mass-produced guitars to handcrafted artistry, everything that came through that door. And as time went on, my questions shifted from how are guitars built to how could I build something different. Now, every guitar needs a backbone, and I landed on the Jazzmaster, which Leo Fender designed back in 1958. As you can tell by the name, it was initially meant for jazz musicians, but of course, jazz musicians being stingy at that time didn't like anything with that name. So, surf rock took it up and never gave it back. Now, this is just a silhouette of the guitar. It doesn't have character yet. It doesn't have soul and feel. Now, I found this soul in German countertops. I know. It's a little odd, and I promise it makes sense when you see it. But still, I needed this to feel like mine. Not Fender's, not a kitchen's, so I came up with a plan. Now, the essential idea of this was a hardtail Jazzmaster with no tremolo system. This means that I have better tuning stability whenever I do my open tuning songs that I normally do. An offset body with full humbuckers, bare knuckle pickups that are warm sounding in a traditional PAF style, which PAF just means patent applied for, and this was a design that was made back in the 50s. So if you don't know what a humbucker is, which conduct the sound, these are basically two coils wound in opposite directions that cancel out the electromagnetic interference. Now, these deal with the full frequency range and are very dynamic. They deal with the low rumble to high shimmer in a way that feels like the song is completing your sentences for you. Now, untraditional to the original Jazzmaster, I wired these with 500K pots. Now, 500K pots means that these have a kind of more open range. 250K pots, which were initially put onto the Jazzmaster, sounded a little bit warmer, darker. A lot of what surf rock, the Beach Boys, you hear a lot of that in their music. But it sounded like the guitar had a blanket over it, like it was covering some sound and was hiding something from us. And I'd say my favorite detail that I implemented was this. Honestly, I really just love fidgeting with it. It's a push-pull pot that changes the series to parallel system inside of it. Now, if you don't know, series involves sound. pulling it up puts on the full humbucking system, which is series. This acts for a thicker, louder sound, more present, more traditional to these pickups. Push it down and it's in a parallel mode. Softer, more delicate, almost in a lower output, single coil-like. Now this is 2 guitars in one body, and this is always what I had in mind for the start of this project. But enough about ideas, I really don't want to get into that too much. Let's get into the build. So I started off by taking a mahogany blank, and I brought it to Assembly, which is a makerspace here in North Austin. I learned to CNC the body, essentially a robot with a router bit and absolutely no patience for human error. Then, as I cut this out, the shape almost came out perfectly. One important thing was off though, the neck pocket. This is where the neck and the body merge together, and unfortunately I had made it too shallow, and also too thin on the sides, about 1/16 of an inch all the way around. Now, that does sound like a small detail, but in the end, it makes drastic changes to how this guitar plays, basically making it unplayable. Now, egotistically, without knowing from this level here, I decided to take the matter into my own hands. I carved into it with a small bevel, and of course, as you would guess, I took off exactly another 1/16, now making it 2/16 off. Now it was way too big. I tried and I tried, but I knew it wouldn't fit inside the neck pocket. So all I had to do now was use a table saw. Now, this is what I needed. Exactly 38 millimeters wide, 76 millimeters deep, and a neck angle at about 0.084 degrees. And I believed I could do this with a table saw, because I mean, one wrong adjustment and everything downstream collapses. No problem. I understood this problem completely, yet my plan now was to duke this out with the table saw. You can guess how that went. So there I was, sitting in a pool of blood on the ground, looking at my now bleeding finger, and really, it was pouring, it was bad. And I just sat there thinking about how all this just went wrong, could go wrong, and that I should have called Miles Manglos. Now, Miles was a mentor I'd meant to loop in from the very start, but timing had never lined up. I texted him that night, explained everything, the pocket, the body, the hand, all of it. We went back through everything together, every measurement, every mistake, down to the millimeter, and I kid you not, he was stingy about that. 3 hours later, there was a new body, right pocket, every mistake from the first attempt gone. Starting over, I felt like I had 2 choices of how I was going to look at this. From this point, I was thinking, A, I have to start over, or B, I get to start over. Obviously, I did my best to go for the route of option B. Now, with a new body in mind, this time I included a carved bevel on the back. This allows for the body to fit on my rib cage perfectly, in a way that almost transforms the rigid slab into something really built for me. Now, I also went through some old culture archives, as I usually do, and found this Malibu appendix. These are hand-shaped surfboard fins from the 50s, each one unique, each one different, almost look like they just carved through the water. So I took the ergonomic logic of those fins and reapplied each one till I found a perfect fit. Now, there's one last problem. This is still a problem that I will be dealing with after the project and probably will be starting on it exactly tonight. As I was placing the neck and connecting the body with the neck, all the screws that are supposed to hold these two together actually went in, held together, and then as I lifted it up, they just fell out. Like all the heads of the screws just fell out. So there is no chance now of trying to get those out without having to use external materials that I don't have currently. Now, with the head and the body now permanent, no truss rod access, no disassembly for me, and no going back, I had successfully bolted these two pieces together for the end of time. So at some point in this project, the universe decided I needed to learn patience. lesson received. So I continued forward. And that's really the only thing you can do in this project and in any senior project is to just keep pushing forward. So with the neck married to the body, that meant that everything happening now was simultaneous. Oil coat finishes, electronics, both done simultaneously. Oil layered on top of each other, preparing the surface, measuring the pockets for the electronics, turn around, solder, cure, adjust, repeat. Now, this wasn't a workflow I had intended at first, but later on, it felt like kind of a workflow that stuck with me. It kept the entire guitar together and made me think about it as a whole piece rather than as separate parts. Now, with the body done, I actually had to make this sound like something. So this is what a full humbucker harness looks like. Volume, tone, push-pull, pot, output jack, and then copper shielding lining the entire cavity inside this guitar, basically making a Faraday cage. Everything is grounded. I mapped it twice. I worked extra slowly this time, and I did not rush a single solder joint. And thankfully, I think this was my calling because it worked on the first try, which after everything felt like the universe was throwing me a bone. Now, for neck angle, action, and intonation, and this is where Lu 3 stops being a woodworking process and starts becoming engineering. Now, neck angle controls the height of the strings and how they sit relative to the frets. Action is string height. So if action is too high, it's a workout. If it's too low, it buzzes like a bumblebee in a tin can, and nobody wants that. And I think for the most prettiest part about this process, oil coats. Now, this was done over a 24-hour period, 6 coats in total, every coat every 4 hours. And by coat 3, I stopped thinking about every mistake I'd made, the neck pocket, the strip screws, and I just looked at this guitar. It was beautiful. Now, with everything assembled and put together, this was my final product. Now, I want to come back to this question. If you knew you could get exactly what you wanted in 15 mistakes, how quickly would you try to make those mistakes? With the strip screw, the finger, the 2 bodies, the call I should have made in month 1 that I only made on month 4, and plenty of other adjustments I did not talk about, that would have probably left us here for another 30 minutes or so. Every setback for me was a detour. Everything was a path, and it was just a path I did not expect at first. But I really walked away with this feeling proud of what I had done. I actually found that photo after I'd built the guitar, and almost it felt like everything was coming full circle to me, like my inner child was screaming out in my head during this project to really fulfill what I wanted, and I feel like I achieved my dream. Now, hold on. I want to thank everybody here, but specifically my parents, who were my backbone, and the people I could always lean on. You were my biggest supporters and just never stopped helping me in this endeavor. I can't thank you enough. Now, to my mentors around the world who taught me this craft and shared their unique gifts. To Miles, seriously, for turning this entire project around. To my teachers, Mike and Devin, and fellow artists who held this guitar during their performances and told me the truth. To Dr. Stotts and Mr. Phillips. To Amy and to Andrew, who Andrew's not here, but to the rest of you who are, thank you so much for making this project what it is here today. And to you all for being here on a late night show, actually paying attention. Thank you. And with that, y'all, Wonderwall. No, I'm kidding. This next piece is kind of one that stuck with me for a while. I didn't really know what I was going to play for y'all, but I was reminded of this about 3 weeks ago, and I kind of wanted to hone it in and kind of add some of my own flavor to it. But this is going to be Out Getting Ribs by King Cruel. y'all believe it survived that? Oh my gosh. I think I had a dream about that, and actually, like, the headstock cracked in my dream, and I woke up and I was like, no! Oh my gosh. Whew. Anyways, this is Out Getting Rooms.
Now,
I wanted to start by saying your guitar is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
And the way it sounds so rich. The tone is incredible. I wondered if you could demonstrate for us, I'm going to forget what it was called, the little thing that you like to play with. Like, can we hear the difference?
Oh, yeah, the push-pull pot? Yeah, so quick explanation here. I've been playing it this entire time. It's actually, so this is a funny thing I did. This is kind of like also this little detail here I'll just share before I share that, sorry. This is kind of like my kind of shut up, and like if you're on stage or you're with a band and they're telling you to like, stop, I'm tuning. I just kind of like pull this up and I throw it here. And this is a kill switch. Basically, this is on, but no sound. Now if I flip it here, I get this more thicker, louder sound. It was that kind of pushing the barrier of like sound that doesn't ask for permission kind of thing. Then if I push it down, it's in this more delicate, well, the pickups are kind of moving from that fall, but softer, glassy. It's got this like, I don't know how to describe it. I don't really know how to describe the guitar either. It's like it's a mix of emotions for me, because like I have the pure bliss of making it, and then I have this daunting feeling of presenting. So I think after this is done, I can really create a full-formed thought about it. But roll it back. Almost sounds like it's talking through a can. Pull it up. Yeah. Did that answer your question? Sorry. Sorry. Um, oh, yes. This way. Not yet. I've been too daunted by this presentation. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Yes. If I could jam with anyone, who would it be? Oh, if they were still around, probably Prince. Yeah. Nathan? Yeah. Well. Yeah. It's a good question. I would say for me personally, I wanted to articulate my voice through the guitar, since I'm not so good at presenting myself and communicating clearly. I felt like a guitar invoked more of my language to other people, and it's universal. Yeah, I felt like I could move people and make people feel with bass, but I could talk to people with guitar. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Ooh. If we don't include research, which has been like probably half of my high school life, as most of you know, I'd say 80 hours to build. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes. Oh yeah, yeah. This I don't know if it will be a business yet, but yeah, I have like once this guitar was already done, I already had more ideas coming in. I think I'll make a semi-hollow or an acoustic guitar next, which does take a lot more hand carving experience, which, as you could tell by the first couple slides, that needs work. But yeah, I would really love to make more guitars and make more for other people. Yes. Oh yeah. Components to build the guitar itself was 1700, 1800. Yeah, steep. And that did not include all the other parts and pieces that came in while this was kind of crumbling. So, yeah, steep. Yes. Similar to this, I think there's a lot of handcrafted like artists out there that have really honed their craft, and they sell their guitars upwards of like 3,000, and then they just keep going up. Usually, yeah. Yes. Oh yeah, I have personal projects, and I've been connecting with people outside of school that I haven't really like, I guess with being here at Waldorf, I haven't really like shed my skin yet of like just going out and like talking to other people about making music outside of this school. But it was really great to do a show with my classmates, and I hope we can do more of that. Yeah. Any questions? No?